This is one of those movies that honestly is not very good, but I still enjoy watching it. Let's do it. Chernobyl Diaries is about this guy named Chris, yes, played by Jesse McCartney, and he is traveling across Europe with his girlfriend Natalie and their friend Amanda. They stop in Ukraine to meet up with Chris's brother Paul, who lives there, before they all head out to Moscow, Russia. And Chris tells his brother that he intends on proposing to Natalie on this trip. So the plan is to go to Moscow. However, Paul comes up with this idea and convinces them to do something else. He wants to go to this abandoned town that is the site of the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear plant disaster. Chris and the others are not really into the idea, but Paul insists and ultimately they all agree. So they meet up with this guy Yuri, who is a tour guide, and they also meet this couple Zoe and Michael, who is going to be tagging along. They all hop in Yuri's van and they drive out to the checkpoint, but the military does not let them in. But Yuri is like, don't worry, there's an alternate entry point that is not guarded. We can go through there, and he takes them in. And they immediately start seeing weird shit that is a result of the nuclear mutations, like these fish that can live on the land. This, of course, happened because of the radiation poisoning, and the group is like, are we safe to be here? Yuri assures them, yes, we're safe for a period of time, and he also has this device that measures the radiation levels and it will beep if it gets too high. They continue to explore, and eventually they get to this apartment building where Yuri looks out and shows them the site of the nuclear power plant, and he tells them nobody can go in there because the radiation is still too strong. The group then starts to hear noises in the apartment building, and when two of them go to look, it is a mutated bear that runs at them, but it ends up running by them. It doesn't hurt them. The group is like, yeah, okay, we've had enough, so they get in the van and get ready to go back to town, but it won't start. And when Yuri looks, he sees that the wires have been cut through by something. So he tries to radio for help, but nobody is answering, and the group just sits there and waits, and eventually night comes. Zoe and Michael say that they want to hike back to the checkpoint because it's 12 miles away and they would rather just go than stay here overnight. But Yuri is like, absolutely not. It is not safe out there in the night. That's when all the creatures come out. So they all stay put, but then suddenly they start to hear weird noises, and Yuri goes out to investigate and Chris follows him. But not long after, the group hears gunshots, so Paul rushes out to go find his brother, and when he comes back, we see that Chris has been attacked. His leg is ripped apart so he can't walk, and he tells them that Yuri was taken by something. They have no choice but to stay in the van, and as they're in there that night, it's attacked by these mutated dogs that eventually leave. So the next morning, Paul, Michael, and Amanda decide that they're going to go out together and look for Yuri. They find a trail of blood which leads them to this abandoned building, and in there they find Yuri's mutilated body. And then they are chased out of the building by a creature, but they are able to make it back to the van, and they also were able to take Yuri's gun before they ran out. Back in the van, Amanda starts looking through her camera, and she notices that in the apartment building, she caught a very strange-looking creature on film. The group now realizes that they're in danger. Something is not right here. So it's still light outside, and they decide that they're going to need to hike to the checkpoint. They have to do something. So the group gets ready to go, but Chris is too weak and he can't walk on his legs. So Natalie stays behind with him while the others go. They end up finding this parking lot of abandoned cars where they take a battery so they can put it back in Yuri's van and hopefully get it started. As they're hiking back, they are once again attacked and chased by those mutated dogs and also attacked by the mutated fish from the pond. By the time they get back to the van, it's night and the van is nowhere to be found. It's not where it just was. Eventually, they find it in the distance, upside down and completely destroyed, and they find a video camera inside. When they watch the footage, they see that Chris proposed to Natalie right before they were attacked by something. So the group goes into this abandoned building to try and find the two of them because they have no idea where they are, where they're chased by more creatures. And as they're running away, they run into Natalie, who is completely shaken up and says that Chris was taken. The group is then distracted when they see this creepy-ass little girl just standing there. And while they're not paying attention, this dark figure approaches Natalie and takes her again. The group is then chased by this horde of mutant people. They flee into these underground tunnels where Michael tries to hold the mutants off but ultimately is taken by them. And eventually the group finds the engagement ring that Chris gave to Natalie, but Chris is nowhere to be found. The group continues to be chased, and as they're climbing a ladder, Zoe is dragged down and taken by the mutants. Now it's just Natalie and Paul, and when they emerge from this passageway that they just found, they're at the power plant. Because of the extremely high radiation, their skin immediately starts to blister and they lose their vision. They don't know where the fuck they're going. While they can still see somewhat, they find Natalie's body and they continue on being chased. Eventually, the two of them are able to make it outside where they run into the Ukrainian military. All now completely blinded start stumbling towards them, begging them for help, and they shoot him and kill him. Amanda then passes out, and when she wakes up, she is on a gurney being taken into this dirty ass place, and the doctors are insisting that it's the hospital. However, they're speaking to each other in a language Amanda doesn't understand, basically saying that the group encountered the patients. The mutant creatures that they've been encountering were just escaped patients, and Amanda knows too much, and the others all died. So she's gotta die too, and they throw her into this dark cell. And sure enough, she is swarmed by these mutant patients as she screams and presumably dies, and the movie ends.